Hello, I'm Dr. Sombiana, urologist, and today I want to talk with you about a topic that impacts many lives: the natural changes the penis undergoes over time. I won't discuss clinical cases or professional experiences, but rather share something personal lived in my own relationship with my husband. Like any part of the body, aging brings transformations, and the penis is no exception. Gradually, it also undergoes changes that can create insecurity and even frustration for both the man and his partner. Believe me, these changes don't have to be an obstacle to pleasure and connection in a relationship. Quite the opposite, over time. I've learned that intimacy and the joy of connection can remain regardless of these transformations. I'll share some practical advice and a positive perspective that help my husband and me handle this new phase naturally. And enriching ultimately what truly matters is the bond and care we have for each other, not just appearance or performance. As the years go by, our bodies change, and the penis follows this process. These natural transformations may raise questions or even discomfort, but throughout my relationship with my husband, I realized they don't need to mean the end of pleasure or connection in a couple in our youth. Our intimacy was vibrant and intense. I remember the beginning of our relationship. He radiated confidence and energy, and our moments together were marked by unique vitality. Early in our marriage, our sexual life seemed to flow effortlessly, something that for us was strongly associated with physical strength over time. Those moments began to shift, and we noticed changes we hadn't anticipated. The first sign was that his erection didn't have the same firmness. At first signs, we thought it was temporary, just a result of stress or fatigue. But as time went on, this situation became more frequent. Sometimes his erection would disappear before we could fully enjoy our intimate moments. I also noticed subtle changes in size, which, while minor, were impactful as they brought new feelings and concerns to support you in achieving a more fulfilling S3X life. I've made available the digital book, Rediscovering Intimacy, Healthy S3 for Sexuality. After 60 in it, you'll find practical tips to strengthen your relationship. Overcoming emotional and physical challenges with effective solutions to rekindle passion in your marriage. Check the pinned comment to get your copies are limited, so take advantage of this opportunity to transform your love and emotional life. Our first conversation about this was difficult. He, who had always been secure and confident, seemed uncomfortable, almost as if he were embarrassed for not being able to be as he was before. This silent worry created a gap between us, as if he were avoiding the topic to avoid disappointing me. But by facing these changes together, we began to discover new ways to connect and keep intimacy alive, even if it wasn't in a different, more sensitive way. Seeing my husband show insecurity touched me deeply, as I always believed our relationship was built on the love and closeness we created together over the years. Through my research, I discovered that it's entirely common for the body to lose some elasticity over time, and this happens to everyone. Hormonal changes and slower blood flow are also normal as we age. And yes, these changes affect the size and firmness of the penis, but they are part of natural aging and do not define a couple's intimacy. One evening after a relaxing dinner, I felt it was the right time to talk. I sat beside him, held his hand, and gently told him that I understood what he was going through and that there was nothing to be embarrassed about. I explained that our bodies transform over time, and this is a reality for all of us. I reassured him that what truly mattered to me was the incredible person he has always been, and that I loved him for his essence, not his physical aspect. At that moment, I felt something. Things shift between us. We began to value affection, companionship, and closeness, discovering ways of pleasure and intimacy that didn't rely on an erection over time. We learned to enjoy our intimacy more profoundly, appreciating each touch and the affection shared in our moments together. We discovered that prolonged hugs, calm kisses, and genuine affection were just as important as reaching a climax before we may have focused on reaching a final goal. But now each gesture became an expression of love. With this new perspective, I saw my husband gradually regain confidence, rediscovering himself and accepting the natural changes of his body. Our bond did not depend on meeting youthful expectations. On the contrary, we found renewed pleasure in focusing on mutual connection and the enjoyment each brought to the other. We learned that true intimacy goes beyond a single moment. It's in the way we treat each other, in attentive listening, and in the support we offer one another. Knowing relationships can count on this presence, both in light moments and in the challenges that aging presents, brought a unique depth to our relationship. Society often pressures men to maintain a constant image of virility, but we understood that love and companionship are what really matter. In the end, it's the feelings we cultivate that make us feel truly complete. The pressure to maintain a strong image can be difficult, especially when the body begins to change. But one thing I would like all men to know is that their worth is not tied to the size of their penis or the intensity of their erections. What really counts is how they love, care for, and emotionally connect with their partners. Today, with more years of experience, I can affirm that sex and maturity can be even more gratifying than in youth. Over time, we gain patience, understanding, and sensitivity to meet each other's needs. This phase allows us to savor every moment without the pressure of achieving a specific goal, focusing on the pleasure of touch and the calm of connection. Slowly, we learn to see our bodies in a more welcoming way. When we're young, we tend to focus on perfect appearance and maximum performance. But with time, we start to value our bodies for what they represent, a living history of experiences and shared love. Each of my wrinkles has meaning, and the marks on my husband's body do too. These small changes became symbols of our journey together, and at the end of the day, it's these memories that truly matter. The elderly body becomes a map filled with stories, marked by all we've lived, the choices we've made, and the victories we've won, rather than seeing it with frustration. We've learnt to look with gratitude. Every wrinkle and every change represents moments of resilience, love, and learning. Gradually, my husband began to see his body differently. His penis size was no love learning. Longer a symbol of his masculinity, just a part of him that had also changed like so many other things. By letting go of these social pressures, he regained confidence. But now it was a more authentic confidence, not based on appearance or performance, but on complete acceptance of who he truly is. Our intimacy also followed this new path. Even if our encounters are not as frequent, they have become more intense and meaningful. Each touch now comes with a greater intention, as if each moment is a celebration of our connection and the love we keep. Despite all the changes the years have brought, we started discovering new ways to enjoy our moments of intimacy without the pressure of an erection or the need to reach a climax. We realized that true pleasure was in each other's presence without expectations, simply enjoying the moment. Something I deeply value in these years together is our ability to be honest and vulnerable with each other. We openly talked about our fears and insecurities, and my husband told me how hard it was for him to accept the changes in his body, feeling less confident in a society that often links masculinity to sexual performance. He explained to me how, throughout our relationship, he understood that his worth was not tied to these standards. And I, with all sincerity, told him that, although the physical change was unexpected, at first it never affected my love or desire for him. On the contrary, our bond became even stronger. By facing these transformations together, we learned to communicate better, express what we needed, and understand what was important to each of us. This sincere and open communication kept our spark alive, not just in the sexual aspect, but in the depth of our emotional connection over time. We came to value our emotional connection more. We became attentive to the importance of caring for our feelings and strengthening our bond, knowing that sex is more than a physical act. It's an expression of our affinity and affection with this strengthened connection. Pleasure became something deeper and more meaningful without depending on physical performance for my husband. Accepting his body's changes brought new self-care habits. He began focusing more on overall health as well as sexual health. He became interested in a balanced diet, exercise, and relaxation techniques like meditation, which helped relieve stress and anxiety. These choices benefited not only his body, but also his emotional well-being. In the end, these small changes had a positive effect, even on our intimacy, something we hadn't imagined when it all began. Stress and anxiety often interfere with sexual life in old age, creating unnecessary pressure to perform by letting go of that pressure. My husband started to see his body with more acceptance and kindness. This new outlook brought more lightness to our moments together, allowing him to relax, which made his body respond more naturally. These changes, however, didn't happen quickly. It was a gradual process with ups and downs, filled with moments of doubt and small victories. There were still days when he felt insecure with some frustrations about the body's limitations. But over time, those moments of insecurity lessened. We both dedicated ourselves to nurturing our relationship and strengthening our self-acceptance. And this shared path made all the difference, bringing back the joy of being together. We learned to handle the changes with lightness, using humour to soften unexpected moments when something didn't go as planned. Instead of feeling frustrated, we would just laugh together, hug and enjoy the moment in our own way. This relaxed approach showed us that not everything has to be taken so seriously. Imperfections are part of life and give it a special touch over the years. Our relationship transformed. It was no longer just about physical S through to X. It became something much deeper, involving touch-shared looks, affectionate words, and gestures of love. We discovered that true pleasure was in the connection between us, in each other's presence, and in the love we shared. The changes in my husband's body were in fact our lessons in acceptance and patience. We learned to look beyond society's pressures on appearance and performance, valuing what truly matters: closeness, companionship, and respect. Each physical change was an opportunity for us to grow together, to strengthen our relationship, and to rediscover ways of expressing our love. When I look back, I feel grateful for everything we've gone through. The passion of youth has its value, but there is a serene and mature beauty in a love that withstands time, facing difficulties, and becomes stronger and deeper with each stage of life. For any man or couple facing these changes, my message is clear. Talk about what you're feeling. Accept the transformations your bodies are going through. Aging is part of life, and with a positive outlook, each phase can be as gratifying as the last. The size of the penis or the firmness of erections are merely details in a much larger picture. True connection and genuine pleasure come from the ability to love deeply and be loved, to accept each other with all the changes that time brings. This has nothing to do with physical appearance, but with the heart and soul. We invest in the relationship, aging side by side. We keep learning, strengthening our love, and maintaining this special connection between us. And to me, this is the true gift that old age brings us. A love that goes beyond the physical and takes root in companionship. I'd love to know, how do you see these natural changes that time brings? Share your experience or thoughts in the comments. It enriches our conversation and helps others feel embraced. And of course, if you enjoyed this content, leave a like. Your support is important for more people to discover the channel and receive this information. Feel free to share this video with friends and family together. We can open up more space for sincere and informative conversations. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to receive all the latest updates. Each step we take here is to bring our community closer and foster greater understanding. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you next time.